Light the beam, because it's time for Nerdy for 30. It's a podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer, aka The Critic's Choice. With me, as always, my faithful co-host, the People's Champ, Tim Cack.
Hey.
Hey, indeed. And today we are doing something a little bit different. Tim already covered your movie coverage for this week with the extra Equalizer pod he dropped on Tuesday. You know, I'm still personally down with a debilitating illness of haven't watched the Equalizer flu. I don't know. I didn't fucking prepare for that one. That's not what we're prepared for today. What we're doing today is talking tears. You've heard us for the past few episodes start realizing that we need to identify some sort of a tier system for the movies that we're watching here, because we're having a real hard time ranking these things against each other when it seems like they're effectively different genres of movie. Now, originally we were going to come into this and we were just going to riff it live on the air, but Tim let me know before this recording that he is locked and loaded with some hard and fast opinions. So Tim, do you want to take it from here?
Sure. Kevin, this is my idea for how we should handle this episode. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see our wonderful Excel sheet that we have going on here. Bada bing, bada boom. Can you see that, Kev? Is it working? Little Excel. So I have this tiers list that I put together, and I'd like us to debate the tiers and see if these are good, hash it out, figure out where we can agree on these tiers. Then I have all of our movie rankings listed here with a wonderful little drop down next to them with all the tiers listed here.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, that's data validation rules in Google Sheets. That's what Daddy likes.
So as we go, I think we need to, our goal for this episode is to develop our tiers and tier every single thing that we have covered on this podcast. How does that sound, Kev?
That sounds great. And I want to immediately start the debate by asking you a question that may infuriate you. Is it enough to have just one tier? So to read through what Tim has here for those listening audio only. At the top, we have great. Under that, we have really good. Under that is good. Under that, good for what it is. After that, okay. Then fun but not good. Then fun bad. Then fine, bad. One of the worst things that's ever happened to me, and glad I watched it.
Yeah. Glad I watched it is a little out of play. I think for the glad I watched it is kind of like an outlier. It's like a third thing. But everything else seems to kind of be in order for me. I thought I was kind of debating if fun but not good and fun bad were the same thing. And I don't think they are. I think they're two different categories. Fine. Okay. I don't know if this is the best way to word these, but this is kind of how I was thinking them. And this is when somebody asks me how to describe a movie, I usually respond with one of these combinations of words, right? The thing that really kind of opened this up for me, that I think I spent way too much time going down a slightly different tangent, is great, really good for what it is. Now, the what it is part really sent me spiraling, Kevin, because all of a sudden we're into categories, right? It's not tiers. All of a sudden it's categories. And so one I came up with that I think is actually pretty good. I was trying to look at another thing. I don't need to show. I was trying to get another spreadsheet going with just all of the categories and trying to come up with an example for each category. And so, like my example I thought of for action movies, I think there are really two categories of action movies, and that's bullets and stunts, right? If you see an action movie, there's either guns or they're doing cool stuff. And it seems like that's a pretty strong delineator between these two things. And then I think on top of that, you factor in rating. So overall for action movies, I came up with 4 categories: guns, PG-13, guns R, stunts, PG-13, stunts R. I don't even know what a good stunts R would be, but I mean, I think we can definitely find a place for those. So that just opens good for what it is, just opens a whole nother world of like, it's good for what it is for that specific genre, specific category, specific thing. But what do you think about the rest of the list? What do you think about what I just said with the categories?
Wow. So the categories are kind of what I had in mind. So these are, I like this ratings list a lot. I do like that there are basically sections to this that feel pretty siloed off from each other. So the fun category is interesting because it acknowledges that something can be fun separate from if it is good or bad. So that feels like it feels pretty brilliant to have that right in the middle, because I feel like that really typifies what is happening in the middle of our list right now. You know, I was just looking at like Transformers Rise of the Beasts and the Meg 2 and thinking I cannot justify putting either of those above the Air Meridian. For our longtime listeners, you'll recognize that the movie Air is the most medium movie ever made, and it is therefore the absolute middle of our list, no matter how many movies we rank. So I can't justify putting the Meg 2 or Transformers Rise of the Beast above the Air Meridian and therefore defining it as a good movie. But I did have a lot of fun watching both of those. So I love that you have this fun category in the middle. Where I was coming from the categories is basically thinking if the only way we're going to be able to do this is if we establish almost like a genre of movie as well. So this is like, let's say, so like Starter Udom, the Indian movie that we just watched a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
That's like, it's a prestige movie. You know, this is like a movie. It is a well-crafted movie. It is a well-made movie. Same thing for Coda, same thing for Oppenheimer, like some of these things that are kind of elevated. I would say Everything Everywhere All at Once too is like a prestige movie. The quality of those movies can vary within the bounds of being a prestige movie without necessarily qualifying it above or below another movie in a different category. So, for example, John Wick 4, if we go back through this list, there's a strong argument that John Wick 4 should be the best thing this year. I think both of us are ready to admit that. We're 9 months into this year. John Wick 4 is probably the most astounding thing that we've seen this year. I think that John Wick 4 is obviously not, it's incredibly well made, but there's definitely a delineation between that and a prestige movie. It's a bullets action movie. It's prestigious, but it's not a prestige movie like, you know, a Yorgos Lanthimos movie would be.
Prestigious. But so I thought, honestly, like good is what I feel like is like one of those kinds of movies. Like they can't be better than, they can't be worse than good, you know, but but I think you're right. I think you're right on the same thing where it's like, there is like a genre of Oscar movie that doesn't necessarily, isn't an exact match to this list.
Right.
But they're close, but it's not exact. So did you have like specific ones in mind as far as, you know, prestigious Oscar? Is that the way you were going with this? Yeah,
in that I only really had 3 silos that I was imagining. And I pictured these being like 3 columns that stand next to each other because a movie can't really exist in both of those. The silo on the far left is like a prestigious movie. Again, that's going to be like any movie about the Queen of England. That's going to be most of the stuff that wins an Oscar in a given year. These like very I don't know, well-crafted,
hoity-toity, like, full usually, of themselves.
Yes, thank you for just putting a word on it. Hoity-toity, up its own ass. This is like a very like, people thought that they were making an important film. And then I think
prestigious, up its own ass. I think.
Yeah, there we go. And then I think we have.
Actually, I'm going to replace up its own ass with with they think it's important.
There we go.
They think they made something important. I think that's such a good description of like what prestigious is.
Because so like funny. I would say like a perfect example. There's a lot of movies that like that think they're important, and they have all the trappings of being one of these prestigious movies, but they're just not that good. Like I would say, Oh God, what was there was
Green
a
Knight?
movie.
Green Knight. I was
Green
trying to
Knight,
find a way to classify that. I was so
exceptional
miserable
example.
during that movie, and it is so hoity-toity and up its own ass and so artistic that someone can walk away from it being like, oh my God, it's beautiful somehow. But
That is an
honestly,
absolutely phenomenal example.
the worst movies I can think of are attempts at prestigious, right? Joker. People think that's a prestigious movie, but it
it's not.
sucks ass.
So I wouldn't even put that in the prestigious category.
Oh. No, so then what's next? So,
I got
okay,
so
so the way
hyped.
I've got this set up right now, rankings, I have C as our rankings column, like the tier. And then B is going to be prestigious, this other kind of descriptive thing, like genre.
Sure.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense? So we've got prestigious. What are the other ones you were thinking about?
So leave a gap immediately after prestigious because there's one in the middle that we're going to need a name for. And then immediately after this, we have movies that are actively trying to be good and just missing. And so in this category, I would put
Whiffs.
Gunpowder Milkshake. Whiffs is pretty fun. And then I think there's a category beneath Whiffs that's like tragedies. Like movies that are so far off course, so egregiously bad. Obviously, the bottom of this barrel and the mascot for this is going to be Munsters. But I would also
I don't know how to spell
put
tragedy.
I think Secret Invasion was such a poor production value that I think it actually hits tragedy. I don't even think it's in the Whiffs category. Whiffs is you took a swing and if the combination of ingredients had been slightly different, you might have ended up with a really good cake, but this is what you had.
If you're watching on YouTube, you got to watch me Google words for the correct spelling. While Gavin is really deciphering, really breaking this shit down. So then it seems like this isn't even genre. You're not even talking about action movies, horror, drama. You're
Right.
talking about the artistic intent behind them.
Yeah.
So they think it's important. A whiff is like a big swing. They took a big swing and they knew it, right?
I think not even necessarily a big swing. It's just they tried and they didn't make something good, but they tried. I shouldn't even say they didn't make something good because that's kind of where I want to get into. Something can be a great whiff. A tragedy, I mean, they just fucked up. Like Secret Invasion and honestly, I think it's tough. I think Ant-Man and the Wasp is like a bottom of the barrel whiff, but I think Secret Invasion is like a bottom of the barrel tragedy. They really truly fucked.
Whiff. What about Army of the Dead? We've done that one on our pod before, which is, I think, the biggest movie for us with missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity, where they built this world and just nothing came out of it.
Yeah.
Is that a whiff?
I think it's well made enough that I would put it in this unlabeled category in the middle. So the unlabeled category in the middle, I think ranges everything from John Wick to the D&D movie to The Flash to Army of the Dead potentially. So I would consider Godzilla
movies.
versus Kong.
The stuff we like. I don't know. I'm going to say this, the stuff I like.
Yeah, it's
We need a good word for it. We need a good word I can Google the spelling of.
Let's see, we got tragedies, whiffs, prestigious.
These make no sense.
I mean, we're probably going to get rid of this.
Prestigious, middle of the road, it's not the Air Meridian. This is a whiff is not good, but it's what if we just call it solid?
Solid feels good. Solid feels really good.
So prestigious, they think they made something important. Solid, the stuff we like. Whiffs, you can tell they tried. Solid, the stuff we like. Whiffs, you can tell they tried. Tragedy, they fucked up.
Yeah, I like that. And I take it back to clarify. I think The Flash would be a whiff. I just remembered how bad the CGI is in The Flash. So I think The Flash would categorize as a whiff in here.
Okay. You've been dropping a lot of names. I think we just start working our way down the list with what we have, and then we see how it goes, right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. We're going to start at the top. We're going to work our way down. And maybe we'll discover some mistakes in our rankings on the way. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Is it prestigious, solid, whiffs, tragedy? I mean, it's solid, right?
It's solid for sure. I think it's well made enough
solid.
that I think if it was self-important, it would be prestigious.
Yeah.
So maybe we talk about that a little bit for the second one.
And I think just on the tiers, which is really just like a scale of how good it is. When somebody asks you, how was the movie? It's great. It's a great movie. I think that's easy.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great.
Totally support it.
The Last of Us, number 2. That feels a little prestigious, right?
That does feel prestigious. I think that's fair.
Man.
I think it's prestigious. I think something can also be good and prestigious. Like I think The Dark Knight, the original Dark Knight, actually, fuck it. I think The Dark Knight Rises too. I think those are both prestigious movies.
Like Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Oppenheimer, 100% prestigious. Prestigious? Yeah. You can't spell it. I can't say it.
Last of Us, I'm also going to say it's great. We both liked it. That's a great movie. It's like, it's tops. It's tops totally. For us. John Wick, prestigious or solid? I feel like it might be a solid great.
Yes, I think that's a solid great. And I think if I can make a guess here, I think for both of us, solid great is it's exactly what we want in a movie.
Yes, solid great is the best possible thing you could get. I mean, if you don't get a solid great, I think I would go all the way down to fun. I think a solid great or a solid, if you can't get a solid great, you get a solid fun. And I feel like that's like a close number 2 or maybe number 3. I'm excited to see where this takes us. Batman 1989. Agree. Is that a solid great? It's
definitely solid. I think it's I can't personally put it below great. Really good. Yeah, I think it's great. It's an incredible movie.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I think it's a solid. I think this one might be one where I think I'd go fun over everything else. But maybe I'm wrong. I'd either put it at a really good. I'd put it at a great maybe. But I know you're going to disagree. But I think if it's not really good, it's fun. Or maybe it's really good and fun. Maybe we can have 2 of those. I don't know.
It's definitely solid. There were parts of this movie where I felt like it was a whiff. I think I can give it solid fun. I'm good for that.
Solid fun?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go. Spider-Man 2, solid.
Solid for sure.
I feel like most of these are going to be solid. Solid and
great.
I think Spider-Man 2 gets really good for me.
I'm good with that. I'll agree with that.
I could be wrong. Maybe it's a great from other people, but I mean, great is the top. It's the top of the heap. I guess it is like maybe our top 5, but it's just a little bit too much of a bummer for me. I think I feel good with solid, really good.
I feel good with solid, really good. Yeah.
Bahubali 2. Is it prestigious?
Is it prestigious?
Because it's big, it's showy, it's fancy. There's like dance choreography. I mean, they think they made something important, and it is important, and it's good, and I like it. So, is it prestigious, really good, or is it solid, really good?
Wow. I think it would be. I think I would argue. I think RRR is a little bit more in the territory of like, there's more important stuff happening in that movie because RRR is set in more of a real reflection of the real world, despite everything wild and absurd and amazing that happens in the movie. I want to give Bahubali solid.
Solid.
I don't want to slap it with prestigious.
It doesn't seem like these are indictments of the movie as much as like just like the intent behind them.
Yeah.
Because we already have a prestigious great. So prestigious is not the insult, I feel like it could come across as.
Definitely not. Yeah, I'm glad you changed it away from up its own ass, because that makes it seem a lot more like an insult.
I slotted in Mitchell's versus the Machines here. I know we haven't talked about it, but I think it's better than Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it's better than Across the Spider-Verse.
Agree.
This seems like another like solid. I'd put really good on it too.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, solid, really good.
What about this, Tim? Is it prestigious? Did it swing so hard that it landed itself in the prestigious territory? And I mean, both of us admire the hell out of how much work went into this movie. Like, we have commented multiple times about like how much effort went in, and they pulled it off. It is not a whiff. They completely pulled off everything they tried to do artistically in this movie. This probably has some of the most attention paid to it and paid to its visuals and all the little details in the background of any movie ever made.
I think the visuals, the more I've reflected on it, I think the visuals are incredible and insane and so good. I think it's the height of what visual media is today. I think there's just like the story is okay.
Right.
I don't love it. Is the art enough for it to be prestigious? I think you could convince me that. What's the difference between Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse as far as the prestigious ranking goes?
The difference is, well, the scope and also the awareness of what they were making. So they were like, Into the Spider-Verse blew the doors off the hinges. And so they knew going into Across the Spider-Verse, the pressure they had on their shoulders to surpass what they had done previously. And they rose to the occasion. I mean, visually, they absolutely, again, like knocked it out of the park. But I'm wondering if, prestigious, really good, feels good to me.
Really good. Okay. I feel like this is where we start maybe getting away from really good, to be honest. This is the part of the list where I'm like, now it's on the line for really good.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. A good example for me of like a prestigious movie that is not necessarily a great movie was the movie about Alan Turing with Benedict Cumberbatch they made back in like 2015, 2016, where this is a prestigious movie. They really went for it, but it's just not as good as it could be. It's good, but it's just not as good as it could be.
Okay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Solid, prestigious. It's not prestigious, right?
Not prestigious. No, it's solid for sure. And I would say maybe fun.
Fun. Okay. I would go fun too. I think it's a fun movie. I think it's funner than it is good.
I could be talked into good for what it is.
Good for what it is applies to this next one 100%. Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. It's a movie about a board game. It's good for what it is. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is it a great movie? I don't think it's a great movie. Is it awesome? I mean, it's fine. It's good. I had a fun time. Maybe that's why we need maybe fun is its own extra thing. Maybe fun is like the third column in this, but I think it's good for what it is.
Yeah, I think it's either good for what it is or it's fun. And I also think this might be the last solid movie on this list.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow. Okay.
Just saying. Okay,
because up next is Fast X.
Fast X is a whiff, but it's fun as hell. And I will back it forever.
It's a whiff and it's fun.
Yeah.
Do we need like a good fun category? Because I have fun bad, fun good. Is that a thing?
Maybe good for what it is fun good.
Good for what it is fun good. I don't know. The fun part, I feel like I haven't really figured out the fun part. Like the fun is maybe it's a third column, I think. But I agree. We'll Fast X, whiff, kind of. I mean, it's not as good as any of the others, and fun. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Prestigious. It's prestigious.
You know what? If this is gonna throw us so far off track. What if fun good was it's a blast? Or It's a Ride.
Oh man,
That's too much. Everything at the top of our list could be described as It's a Ride.
that is good. It's a blast though. Is like its own thing.
Mhm.
It's a blast is like, man, yeah, okay. Maybe we'll have to revisit this again.
For everyone listening right now, you are live on the scene as the modern day Siskel and Ebert determine their thumb rating system.
Yeah, how big are these thumbs going? Are they going all the way up, or are they prestigious?
Yeah, everything everywhere is prestigious for sure.
Prestigious.
And,
I think really good.
Yeah, I think really good. I think the length keeps it from being great.
Okay. Barbie, Oppenheimer, double feature. We did one podcast about this. I think this is one thing.
You still don't want to split it?
No, we're not splitting it. It is what we fucked up. I mean, this is our fault. The people told us, everyone told us instantly, should have been 2 episodes. It should have been 2 episodes. And now we're paying the price. Oppenheimer double feature. I'm going to go out. I think prestigious works for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they both thought they were doing something.
Oh my God, you're right.
And I'd go prestigious good.
I'm good with that.
I think that works for both. I think they're interchangeable movies in so many ways, at least as far as ratings are concerned.
Wow.
Okay, as we approach the Air Meridian, you think we got enough time to cram this into one episode, or should we break this into like a part 2 or something?
Let's see. Let's keep running until the wheels come off. We haven't got the 10-minute warning on Zoom yet.
All right. For those of you who don't know, we definitely don't have a Zoom Pro because we like the rush.
We do. We've tried the Pro. We can't do it.
We just talk for an hour if we have the Pro. We need a hard out. Super Mario Bros. Last one before the Air Marine. Oh, there it is. Speak of the devil. Okay, 10 minutes left. I don't think we could do the rest in 10 minutes. Why don't we break it off? Should we break it off here and then maybe do like a part 1, part 2?
Yeah, that sounds good. We'll drop part 2 tomorrow. Come on back for that. We will be ranking everything under the Air Meridian. But first, we're going to do Super Mario Bros. Movie, and we can leave off with Air as a cliffhanger.
Yes. Super Mario Bros. It's solid.
Is it solid, or did they? I think it's solid because my eyes liked it, and it felt fast. I remember when it was over, all of us were like, wow, it's over already.
And then is it good for what it is, or is it okay?
It's good for what it is.
It's good for what it is. And what it is a cartoon about the Super Mario Bros. I feel like, yeah, if Dungeons and Dragons is a good for what it is, Super Mario Bros. Is a good for what it is. Like, no surprises. Can't be mad at this. Everyone knew what was expected for this.
It could have gone so much worse.
It could have been a lot worse. I had a good time watching it. I had a good time watching it. So, yeah.
Well, this is interesting, Tim. I love your tier rankings that you came up with. How do you feel about having this category section in here as well? Do you think it's good? Do you think it helps?
I think I like that we both kind of came in with 2 different ideas of what we were doing, and that's fun. I think we still have maybe we could do genre or something as well. And I don't know. I'm really entertaining the idea of fun as a third category. Because I think it might be outside of the good system, or maybe it's just integrated in it. I don't know. But I was coming from the place of someone asks you, hey, how was Spider-Man 2? What do you say? Really good. It's a really good movie. I don't know if I say fun separately. It's fun. It's a fun movie. I don't know. We'll see. How was this podcast? What do you guys think of the podcast now that you're listening? Would you say great, really good, fun, or the heavily touted good for what it is? Let us know. Let us know on Spotify. You can reply, comment, chat us up. It's good. It's fun. It's nice.
We'll see you there, and we'll see you here again tomorrow with the back half of this episode. Till then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.